Okay, Albert Grande here with Rob DiNapoli, founder, owner of DiNapoli brand tomatoes. How's it going, man?
I'm doing fine, Albert. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you tell me a little bit about how DiNapoli Tomatoes got started?
Well, sure. It's a family business. My grandfather started in 1938 in San Jose. Many years we were in business there. With the growth of the area in San Jose, we finally moved out to the Central Valley. But I think the big transition was in branding. You know, we were a large private label packer. We were packing tomatoes and putting Domino's, Little Caesars brands on our tomatoes. And it wasn't until the early 2000s that we decided to focus on our own brand. And it's been a lot of fun ever since. We've gotten to know a lot of people and a lot of operators in the business. We're inspired by what they say, tell us, post on Instagram. It really was, for an old man to change careers and focus on brand, best move I ever made.
Well, talking about brands, we have a couple right here. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, this of course is our second brand, if you will. The most recent is the Bianco DiNapoli, known for its organic tomatoes, and one of the all-time great people in the pizza business, Chris Bianco, my partner. And so we started this brand in 2009. I was making a sales call to Chris and wanted to show him my family's tomatoes. He said, with all due respect to Italy and where he was trained, he'd really like to do something in California. He wanted it organic, and off we went. And it's been a great adventure ever since. So that's our organic offering, and Chris has been the big inspiration behind it, including his dad painting the picture of the tomatoes, Chris doing the lettering. I even, when we were getting ready for the branding and where we were going to put all the information, and Chris said, well, Rob, could you do it like this? He wanted the writing at a different angle. I said, I'm not sure it's legal. And he said, well, I kind of like to, when I get a can, I like to read it, and this makes more sense to read it and talk about what we're about and what the tomatoes are about. So no one's challenged us yet. I still don't know if it's legal or not, but by gosh, it's America, and we're going to do it until they tell us not to. So that's kind of the quick story behind how we got started. But we're now up to about, I think we've got 5 SKUs, including 2 at retail, and this little jar. So it's still a keep it simple, 5 ingredients on this product right here: garlic, tomatoes, extra virgin olive oil, Pacific sea salt, and some garlic from Christopher Ranch, all organic. And I think that's been Chris's motto, is keep it simple and let each ingredient speak for itself. So I think you'll find the line to be very, very simple, and that's our motto, is let the ingredients speak for themselves.
I've used your tomatoes. I love your brand. I love DiNapoli. I find them in my local supermarket in Honolulu, so they're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you were working pretty hard to get them there, Albert. As I recall, you reached out a couple of times, and thank goodness for some of the distributors that worked with us, and then the retailers. I know we can now find it at Whole Foods. Safeway started carrying it. But our customers are the end users. It's the distributors, bless their heart, but with Instagram and this pizza show, the ability to meet the operator has been an inspiration, and it's what drives us.
That's great, Rob. Just if you could briefly take me there, organic tomatoes.
Yes.
Can you take me from the tomato in the field to the canning? What is the process? What does it go through?
Well, it doesn't take very long. Let me put it that way. It takes a lot longer to get the field ready and grow the tomatoes. It's only about a 4-hour process from the time the tomato is harvested till it's in the can, cooled and ready to go. So speed is the name of the game. Less heat, less oxygen. We like to move the tomatoes through the cannery as quickly as possible. But it is a matter of getting the field harvested, getting them graded. Every load of tomatoes has to be graded for quality, and that helps us determine the right varieties to use for the next year. It's how the grower is paid based on the quality. And then it's off into the dumping station. They're washed. The tomatoes are washed. They're usually graded, so small fruit will drop out. Green will be mechanically sorted out. And then hopefully at least 50% of them will get into the peeler. So we'll get some nice peeled tomatoes out of them. Those that don't make the peeler, broken, maybe the stem is still on, those will be ground up, and that makes the topping juice or the topping puree. We like to use a heavy topping puree, that is not puree, a topping juice. So we like to evaporate a little bit so that the consumer does not have to throw away or discard the juice. We like to think that they can use the entire can. So it's slightly concentrated.
And that was exactly my experience.
Yeah.
I used every other tomatoes I've used. I've had it dump out the juice and drink most of the water.
Right.
But not with this.
Yeah, we're not about waste. The resources, the work that the grower puts into the tomato, we don't like to waste anything. It is one of the reasons we came out with Rustic Crush, because our grower was bringing in a super ripe tomato, which is what we wanted, but they were breaking on the way to the cannery. And it was painful to see many of those tomatoes get discarded. So those peeled tomatoes that are nice and ripe, they go into our Rustic Crush, which is really just, it's basically designed by what you would do, what Chris Bianco does with his hands, into the whole peeled tomatoes and breaks them up by hand. So we've got a machine now that takes those whole or broken tomatoes and breaks them up. So it's our green can. We have it in the background, but it's been very popular amongst pizza makers and pasta houses because it's a chopped tomato.
Let me ask you this. Is there a particular type of tomato that you use?
No, I like to say, like Chris said, I remember when I first met him, he goes, just like employees, I don't care what shape or color they are, as long as they get the job done. And so we do use a variety of tomatoes, but we also work with the grower who knows what's best in his backyard. So we aren't particular about the varieties, we're particular about the quality of the fruit at harvest time.
Okay, thanks. And Rob, finally, how can people find DiNapoli tomatoes?
I think we're not popular enough where we're everywhere. So I would say if you just go online and take a look at and look up DiNapoli or Bianco DiNapoli, and hopefully there's a distributor close to you, or you can give us a call or an email would be great, and we'll turn you on to the distributor in your area that carries the product, or the retailer.
All right.
Okay. Albert, good to see you, Albert. We've been doing this for a long time, you and I. Yeah.
Thank you so much for it.
You're welcome. Take care.